Hey everybody, Cherokee Steve here, Cheap Air Gunner channel. Thanks for checking in. It's been a long time since I've done a video. I thought I came up with a pretty decent idea for one though. Basically going to do this in a couple of parts. One of the things I want to do is with my 45 caliber, 454 actually, Hatsan bully. I want to shoot all four different types of ammunition that I have and do a penetration test. Basically, I've got a couple of these very thick hardcover books that I've sectioned off into quarters with some painter's tape. And what I'm going to do is, because I have four different types of ammunition, put one of each into each of the four sections and then count how many pages the slug or round ball has penetrated. Now, the four types I have that I'm going to be using out of the Hatsan bully is from lowest to highest weight. I got Hornady round ball. These are approximately 140 grain. Moving up to the next heavier are these Hatsan Vortex Big Bore Supreme slugs. These are 168 grain. See it right there. Then I have some custom-made ammunition that I bought off of eBay. Next up in weight would be this 215 grain slug. And then the heaviest is 248 grain. And this is that one. So, I think it's interesting to compare velocity numbers versus foot-pounds of energy and translate that into penetration into this book and see what we get. The second part that I will get to eventually is taking both of my 357 caliber air rifles, the Hatsan Carnivore and the Avonix Rainstorm 2, and using the exact same ammunition in each of those, which I'll be using the Hatsan Vortex 350 caliber pellets and putting those into a hardcover book and seeing what penetration I get from each of those. From what I remember, I believe after tuning my Hatsan Carnivore, I believe the power I was able to get from it, velocity wise, I was able to get some higher numbers than the Avonix Rainstorm. Now, I had to do a lot of work on the Hatsan. I have done absolutely no work other than cleaning the barrel on the Avonix gun. So, want to see penetration wise what each of those gives me, and did I actually get the Hatsan to be a little bit more powerful? Can it penetrate a little deeper than the Avonix? Well, that's about it. Let's get to the setup and the shooting. Okay? Thanks for checking this out. Really appreciate it. One of the things I will be doing is topping off the air reservoir on the bully prior to shooting each one of the different types of ammunition. So I'll be starting with a full fill. That's 250 bar. That's 3,625 psi, and you know, try to get that fill as close as possible to being the same for each of the four shots and each of the four different types of ammunition. Do the same when I get to the two 357 caliber air rifles. Make sure that they are both, at their full capacity, air reservoir wise, and put shots down range with those. So let's get to the shooting aspect of the video. I've got the one of the thick textbooks set up downrange in my basement range, and we'll be putting one of each type of 45 caliber ammunition that I have that I've already gone over into each section of the cover of the book. I'll try to get everything from a view from downrange, and I'll be topping off in between each shot. Make sure that there's a full fill on the gun so we're getting the same power from each shot. And then we'll check out the penetration page-wise in the book. Okay, so let's get to it. So what I'm going to try to do, I've got them labeled. You may not be able to read, but I'm going to attempt to put the round ball in this section of the book, the Hatsan 168 grain slug over here, the 215 grain slug down here, and then the 248 grain slug over here. Okay? So let's take a look and see what those four shots got us. Again, here's the book. We had a 140 grain round ball, a Hatsan Big Bore Supreme slug, 168 grain, 215 215 grain slug down here. And then over here, there was a 248 grain slug. Just for reference, total pages in this book uh, 930, and then there's an appendix. So there's a good 950 pages here. Let's see, where did that round ball get us? Well, I'm already seeing pieces of it. And keep in mind that the cover itself for this book is a pretty thick hardcover, so that's going to affect how many pages of penetration anything is going to get. I'm up to page 179, and everything has still, I'm not to anything that has not made it. I am picking out pieces of the round ball, though. There's a small chunk of it right there. Holy cow, I'm looking at there's a big piece of the 215 grain slug. Wow. Look at that. Look at that expansion. We'll see how many pages it made it in, but man, that's going to make a big wound channel right there. Okay, here is the round ball, actually split off into 3 separate directions. Pretty cool. 140 grain round ball. Here is the Hatsan 168 grain slug. I'm on page 281. Penetration wise, it's gone deeper. I've still got torn pages here. $3.79. I've still got all 4 tearing pages. Okay, let's see. We're getting to the end of where the round ball penetrated to. Torn page. Torn page. The round ball tore up to page 2. Well, interestingly enough, okay, here's the first page it didn't tear. Page 523. The round ball went up to page 523. I just had the slug, the 248 grain slug, drop out. So expansion wise, the best one I got was the 215 grain. And a very interesting expansion from that round ball. Broke off and expanded in 3 separate directions. So 523 is the penetration for the round ball. Now the 215 doesn't seem to have gone much deeper than the round ball. The last torn page I get from the 215 grain slug is page 535. So it did go slightly deeper and expanded a ton. That's the back end, front end. But that went to page 535. Now the Hatsan, which I believe, because it didn't expand as much as anything else, this must be a much firmer lead than the round ball or the two other slugs. The other ones must be a softer lead. But I'm looking for where that stops breaking pages. Still got a torn page there. Torn page there. There. The 168 grain Hatsan slug went up to page 579. Now, you can see we've still got a lot of torn pages left from the 248 grain slug. Penetration wise, that was by far the best. I'm skipping here, skipping here, skipping here. Still have torn pages. Torn pages. Torn pages. Didn't make it through all of the pages, that's for sure. That stops at, it actually made it into the appendix. So it made it through all 900. I know I'd already checked this, 931. After page 931 comes the appendix, which is about 20 more pages. But it is 931 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 931 plus 11, so 942 pages presents the first page that isn't ripped. And it did bend the back of the back hardcover. So pretty forceful impact there from that 248 grain slug. Personally, I am pretty surprised with how deep it went. But that's the penetration for all four. Again, let's look at that deformation. 140 grain round ball, 168 grain Hatsan Big Bore Supreme, 215 grain slug, I'm really amused by the expansion of that. And then the 248 grain slug, which had the best penetration, went the deepest, almost through the entire book. Not quite. So I hope you found this interesting. I know I did. And like I said, I'll be doing another video coming up here where I'll take both of my 357 rifles and we'll see which one can, with the same ammunition, penetrate the furthest in another different hardcover book. Okay? Thanks for checking this out. Stay safe and shoot safe. Okay? Thanks.